Unfortunately, nothing lasts forever, especially in the digital age where everything is stored online and technically you don't even own it, even though you paid for it. Multiplayer-focused games in particular have a hard expiration date when the servers are going to be shut down and you will not be able to play anymore. Still, for most people, moving on from a game after a few years isn't too big of a problem. That is, unless you're a sports game fan, as EA has been known to take titles offline after only about a year. All that said, for the select few who do stick around until the servers end up going down, they are willing to go to huge lengths in order to get the games back up and running. In some cases, this means remaking the entire project in another engine, which is very time consuming. This is a good thing for the rest of us because who doesn't get nostalgia at some point or another? Anyhow, here's a select few of the many projects currently underway in order to keep the dream alive. Keep in mind that the following list is non-profit games only, so even though games like Squad look really good, they're not going to be on this list. Tony Hawk was Activision's cash cow before Call of Duty and Guitar Hero were even in diapers. Before the series got milked to death with increasingly half-assed sequels, it really was a fantastic series of games. In fact, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 has the second best Metacritic score of all time. In comparison, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was one of the worst reviewed games of 2015. That's quite a long and hard fall from grace. Thug Pro is a mod for the PC version of Tony Hawk's Underground 2. The mod completely overhauls the original game with many features and assets, as well as community-requested additions and tweaks. You can play almost all of the levels from the first 6 games in the series in one place, as well as compete online against a growing community of dedicated skaters. Unfortunately, to play Thug Pro, you do need a copy of Tony Hawk's Underground 2 installed on your PC. The problem with this is that the game isn't stocked on Steam or other digital storefronts, so you have to either pirate the game or track down a CD version on eBay or something. Almost everyone knows about Halo, Microsoft's huge sci-fi military shooter that almost single-handedly helped sell the Xbox in its early days, and even still to this day, it's a big seller for the console. It also had some of the best multiplayer available in the market with Halo 2 and 3. Well, Sony also had a big first-party shooter series around the same time called SOCOM. The first 3 games in the series were very successful. Unfortunately, these days it's hard to find people who can remember the series at all. The focus on a more real-life setting as well as only having 1 life per round is what helped the game stand out from the competition on consoles. Oh, and the soundtrack was absolutely fantastic. The reason these games are no longer around is that the first one out on PS3 was a broken mess, and secondly, nobody really wanted to play a third-person shooter when Call of Duty 4 came out. The idea behind SOCOM's source is to remake the game as a mod for Insurgency with all the original maps, as well as having the experience as close to possible as the PS2 classics. All you need to play this is a copy of Insurgency. At this point, you should definitely own Insurgency anyway, because the game is great, and it's also regularly updated with free DLC. Even though the last 2 games in the Elder Scrolls series have been really good, a lot of people still swear by Morrowind that it is the best, even though it came out over 15 years ago. To me, Morrowind definitely has the most interesting location out of all the games, but some of the mechanics I really wasn't a fan of. Still, there's a lot of projects currently underway to remake Morrowind. Skywind is a mod for Skyrim, which aims to remake Morrowind in the Creation engine. Development for this project has been going on since 2012. One of the reasons it's taking them so long is because they want to remake and replace everything, meaning new models, new textures, new voices, new music, as well as landscaping. They're redoing all the voice lines as well for all the characters in the game, which is nice because Morrowind had like 5 voice actors who did everything. They also want to improve some stuff that was lacking in Morrowind, like improving the smithing, crafting, and combat systems, because the Morrowind combat system was pretty bad. Skywind might also include quest markers and a fast travel system, which is either a good thing or a bad thing depending on how much you like the running around of Morrowind. In order to run Skywind, all you're going to need is Skyrim, of course, and a copy of Morrowind to use some of the textures. GTA 5 was great, but to me at least it felt like it was missing some of the magic of past entries in the series. Unfortunately, going back to replay some of the older games is not as fun as it should be due to either broken shooting mechanics or other things like that, or just bad graphics in general. However, GTA 4 still looks pretty good, and it's really moddable. So this mod aims to recreate the entirety of GTA San Andreas into the GTA 4 engine. So far, it's looking pretty good, and they're still working on it. It's an open beta. In my opinion, GTA San Andreas had some of the best characters in the series, and was just a really fun game with a great atmosphere, as well as super story. Last but not least, we've got possibly the most complete entry on this list, and that is Brütal Doom. This, along with a series of other mods created, adds new graphical effects such as new death animations, flares, 3D blood effects, revamps some weapons, adds new hitboxes for headshots, features fatalities, and also includes a berserk mode. Other features of note include remastered enemies with new attacks as well as AI, new weapon animations and rebalances, increased difficulty, new sound effects, and much more. The mod is compatible with Doom, Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, and Final Doom. Now this mod has won quite a few awards, as well as even inspiring the upcoming Doom 4 with many features. Quite cool. As you could probably tell by this list, most of my childhood was spent more on the console side of things, so I don't have too many remakes of classic PC games on here. However, if you've got some that you feel like really deserve to get a shout out, let me know down below. That's all for today, but if you haven't seen the two videos on screen yet, feel free to check them out.